and welcome to all of our Gold viewers who are here with us today. I'm Kristen Schwartz, licensed midwife and one of the MCs here at Gold. And today I have two special guests with me here, Heidi Heflin and Carrie Rhodes. Welcome to the two of you.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to
Nice
have
be
you here today. You are, of course, part of our Gold Neonatal online conference coming up here in just a few short days. Actually, we get started at the end of May here with our opening keynote presentation, and that is open access and available to everyone. And I absolutely love the topic that you will be speaking about, titled Demystifying the Car Seat Tolerance Screening. Ooh. But before we get to that, I want to talk to both of you first. Number one, where in the world are you both located? Heidi, I start with you.
I'm in not very sunny Southern California right now.
And Carrie?
I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio. So it's wonderful to have you both here today. How did you come up to with the topic and talking together and presenting together? You have been doing this for a while now, right? So let me know a little bit about, and of course, your background, of course, as well. So again, I start with Heidi.
All right. Well, that's a lot of questions. I am a nurse, originally been a nurse for many, many years, and then became a child passenger safety technician just by happenstance. And when I was in my first conference, I looked around and I wondered where are all the nurses? And that's how I came across my role of trying to bridge nursing and child passenger safety. And Carrie and I have been working together with different projects over many years.
Wonderful, wonderful. And yeah, Carrie, tell me a little bit about your background there as well.
Yeah, so I work in a very large pediatric hospital as a passenger safety technician. So anything that is car seat related or really transportation safety related that involves our patients, I generally have my hands in it somehow, which does include a lot of work in the NICU, especially with our kiddos who are struggling with our car seat tolerance screenings. And Heidi and I have been involved at the national level with various projects related to child passenger safety and healthcare, kind of on different sides, and working together to try to find a good way to bridge those, because a lot of times there's not a good system to do that. So when she had this opportunity, she reached out to me, and we decided it would be a great partnership, kind of coming from more the child passenger safety side and more the clinical side. And this is really where those two things meet. So it's been a great partnership.
Perfect. I love this. Absolutely fantastic that you created that wonderful partnership there. And Heidi, back to you. You mentioned when you first started out, you looked around the room and go like, where are all the nurses? And that kind of got you to, we need education. We need to get everybody here on board. So what were the next steps after this? So you were there, then you decided, okay, I need to tackle this. How did you get others on board?
Well, I first started with the child passenger safety community, and when we had conferences, I would pull aside a meetup, and anybody who was in healthcare that was a child passenger safety technician, we spent some time talking about what our steps might be to build a bridge. I've also created an online way for people to connect that are working in hospitals that may not have child passenger safety technicians. And they're connecting with people that are technicians working in the hospital. So we can support smaller community hospitals.
That's great. Yeah. Where can we find you? Where you said it's online. Can you name us where we can look for you there?
Yes. CPS in Healthcare. It's a Google group.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, because I'm sure anybody listening who wants to find out more, gets an opportunity to possibly contact you and find out more information. Yes. And the two of you, from what I know, is you're teaching together. Now we get you for an hour here at Gold, and we've talked about this before. I wish we could have you longer for a whole workshop style, session, but unfortunately we have a wonderful hour with you, and you're gonna pack so much into this hour. So let's talk about this topic, demystifying the car seat tolerance screening. First of all, let's talk about the car seat tolerance screening for our viewers who are here who might not be in the field or might not be as familiar with that. Who wants to tackle what that is? Carrie, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the car seat tolerance screening is essentially a period of observation. So we know, you take little tiny preemie babies and we sit them up in the car seat, and sometimes they can struggle to keep their heart rate up or their breathing up. And so we want to make sure before we send those kids home that we're keeping an eye on them in their car seat. It's been known for a number of decades at this point that sometimes they struggle. And if they struggle, we want to find that out in the hospital so we can troubleshoot rather than having the family learn that on the way home. So
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Anything to add from your side, Heidi?
Well, I would like to say that I think part of what my goal is to make sure that nurses especially know about child passenger safety, because our education in child passenger safety is very minimal in our undergraduate or graduate programs, and in terms of research articles and other places that you might find this information, it's almost zero.
Yeah.
So this is a very extremely important topic, and we're doing something here that you're not going to find anywhere else.
That's fantastic. I mean, I can speak to that there's a lack of education. When I started out first in my midwifery career, I was training at a birth center, a standalone birth center as well. And we got clients there from all around the world who gave birth. And, when they were going home, they would usually go home even, low risk pregnancies, going home for 4 hours after birth. And often either they didn't have a car seat, or they thought, depending on where they're coming from, they could just go home with a baby in their lap and that I was baffled. Why would they think that, So here we were struggling, and and then they would tell me, can you help me put the car seat in? And I'm like, oh, but I'm not an expert. And usually if it was during the day, we had a very good connection to our sheriff's office, so we could call them and they would come over and install the car seats for the parents and so on. And we would talk about that extensively in the childbirth ed classes and all that. But to be honest with you, I didn't, wasn't specifically trained, and I felt like, there's a huge gap for that, right? And a huge knowledge gap for that. So I'm glad that this is being tackled, and that you're educating and teaching and giving all these workshops. I think it is so needed, and Carrie, you mentioned especially for the for NICU babies, that's they can't go home if they don't meet the criteria of being sent home in a car seat, right? So that's wonderful. So let's talk about your presentation here. I've had a sneak peek of your presentation, of the beautiful presentation you've put together. It looks amazing. I can't wait for it. So what can we look forward to in learning in this hour? So I start with you, Heidi, and then Carrie, if you want to add anything after Heidi is done, feel free to chime in, please.
All right. Well, I think one of the most important things to note is that here in the United States, where Carrie and I work, the American Academy of Pediatrics has really led the movement towards testing kids in car seats. And so we'll be presenting from that point of view and what we're doing here in the United States. Although I have been working globally, I think that the car seat tolerance screening is really on the forefront. Many of the other countries that I talk to use the AAP guidelines to direct their practice. And then I also am very excited about being able to talk to nurses. We can't make you an expert in child passenger safety, but we can give you some basic information so you can answer questions. You can do an accurate car seat tolerance screening, and you can know when you need to stop answering questions and you need to make referrals.
Wonderful. Make referrals. Yes, that's important to know when to really know, okay, this is out of scope of my practice. I hand this over to the experts now. Okay, Carrie.
Yeah, and just to build on what Heidi said, I think it's very much a potpourri type presentation. We do only have a limited time.
Yeah.
And as you said, we could spend a lot of time on this. So we're looking at things like, what are the parts of the car seat? So as we refer to things later in the presentation, everyone kind of understands some of the policy recommendations that are out there, and some of the making sure that the seat is appropriate for the kiddo, and then just some of the nitty gritty of the actual screening. When do we do it? How long should it be? What are we looking at in terms of positioning? When we have kids who aren't able to successfully complete the screening, like what are our next steps? And some of the misconceptions that are out there as well regarding the screening and regarding next steps and things like that. So trying to just just hit a little bit of everything. So hopefully everybody is a little less, the screening can be very much a daunting thing, or it feels like a barrier to discharge, and we don't want it to feel that way. We want to at least give everyone some ideas to kind of build on from there to help get these kids home safely.
Wonderful. It sounds fascinating, and I can't wait for your presentation. It will be live here with us, I believe, June 12th during the conference. And of course, depending on where our viewers are in the world, with regards to their time zone, of that will happen. But of course, and this information is also for our viewers now, all our presentations during the conference are always recorded, so anybody can watch them during a time that's more convenient for them. So thank you so much, Heidi and Carrie, for this wonderful meeting here, that you took time out of your busy schedule, chatting with me about the amazing work you're doing there in your communities and your institutions, and here also your presentation at Goal. Thank you so much, the two of you.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
We're excited.
Very much.
And this is now some information for our viewers. If you would like to find out more about this presentation and all the other presentations in the conference, we would like to invite you to go to goldneonatal.com. You find all the information on the presentations, and as I mentioned, on the time zones there when every presentation is held in live. And we hope to see everyone at the conference. Can't wait for it. See you soon. Bye.